New overnight, a man is dead and 2 others are hurt after a shooting in Newburgh. LMPD says officers responded just before midnight to Indian Oaks Circle that's not far from Poplar Level Road. 1 man died at the scene and the other 2 victims were taken to the hospital. Their injuries are believed to be non-life-threatening. Right now, there are no suspects. Anyone with information is asked to call 574 LMPD. You can also, as always, use the online portal.
My family has suffered a great deal from me having this job. I think that is really an unbelievable question from you. I'm answering the question. And yes, did I drive my daughter to college? I don't know who else would do that. I drove my daughter to college while I worked the entire time.
Frustrated, JCPS Superintendent Dr. Marty Polio gave an update Friday on the bus disaster from the district's first day of school. We're expected to learn even more today, but Dr. Polio has already said students won't return to the classroom Monday or Tuesday. District leaders are aiming instead for a midweek reopening for in-person learning. Polio's team will work through the weekend to make changes, most notably reducing the number of bus routes each driver must handle. We also know the district is not considering NTI days because it only gets 10 of those per school year.
We will ask our board to forgive as many days as we are legally able to, but we will be asking our board, pending what happens with the weather, to forgive as many days as possible of the ones that students are missed.
Dr. Polio did acknowledge even when they come up with a solution, he knows there will still be some issues to work out.
But what we want to make sure that we do, without a doubt, is when we come back, yes, there are still going to be challenges, there are going to be delays, we're working in the same system, but it's going to be much more efficient and our communication will be much better with families and schools. And so we want to make sure we get that right before we put kids back on a school bus again.
As soon as JCPS and Dr. Polio give us an update, we will let you know on air and online at WHAS11.com. Now, JCPS parents are in limbo, unsure when their kids will return to school. One parent says she submitted a bus stop request form before the first day. She wanted her son's stop to return to where it was last year, less than a quarter of a mile from her house. That request was denied.
I got a call from the principal who said the board who approves moving the stops declined it. And I explained to her, you know, he's the only kid and they drive right past his old stop. And she said they had declined it, but she would let them know that I disagreed with the decision.
The district did send us a statement saying, quote, the committee will be reviewing requests for bus stop location changes with a priority on those students who do not have an assigned stop or there is an obvious safety concern. Kentucky Republican lawmakers are now making moves to what they believe will be a fix. Republican Representative Jason Nemes released a letter in conjunction with other Frankfort Republican lawmakers. They're calling for changes and citing the bus disaster as, quote, the straw that broke the camel's back. They're suggesting legislative changes and asking the governor to call a special session.
It's over a $2 billion operation, and so it's too big. And so even if people were competent, which our board is not competent, but even if they were competent, it's too big to manage.
Lawmakers want to offer up an amendment for school choice focused on charter schools and to change the school board. They also want to look at splitting JCPS up into smaller districts. It's worth noting that's something that was discussed during the last legislative session and didn't end up passing. During Friday's update, Dr. Polio said breaking up the district would be the most disruptive thing JCPS has seen. And JCPS has increased the number of people at the bus call center. Friday, there were 80 people taking calls. That number is 502-485-RIDE. That's 485-7433.